Hi, I'm Eve and welcome back to Life Notes. Sexual health and wellness also takes into consideration self-esteem and how we create boundaries. There are many youths who are not sexually engaged, decide to delay sex and have their reasons not to. Remember we discussed that sexual health is a large term. When we see or hear the word sexual health, it is common to focus on the word sex, but that sexual health is so much more than the act of sex. Let's look at sexual esteem. Only you should determine when you are ready to have sex, no one else. It's also important to consider if you are the friend of someone who is not ready to have sex, that it is okay for them to say no. Your role as a supportive friend is to accept that no, without shaming or guilting your friend. It's just as important to learn how to take a no as it is to be the one saying no. We also know that there are many youths who are not sexually engaged and have their reasons not to. It is also important to understand consent and boundaries as a part of your sexual health care. Consent is an informed, freely given, and a clear, yes, between people to do something together. It is important to have consent for any sexual activity with another person, either verbal or non-verbal, for example, communication through body language. However, when in doubt, it is best to ask, as silence does not equal consent, just like flirting, being in a relationship, being married, or having had sex before with the person don't equal consent. In fact, it makes things less confusing because when there's clear consent, you know for sure that the person you're with is down to do the same thing as you are. Now let's talk about situations where a person cannot legally give consent. For example, there is no legal consent in these situations. If a person is too young to give consent. If he or she is asleep, unconscious, or significantly impaired by drugs or alcohol. If a person has abused their position of authority or power to convince you to say yes, and you're afraid something bad might happen if you say no. If someone threatens or uses force on you or another person. If someone misleads you on purpose about the sexual activity or the harm that may result. For example, if a doctor gets your consent for a medical procedure but does something sexual to you. Or if someone lies to you that they are using protection to prevent pregnancy or sexually transmitted infections, STIs. Also keep in mind that consent is reversible. You have the right to change your mind and stop anytime for any reason during sexual activity. Do not be afraid to say no. Our sexual health is a journey, and while we hope that you will always feel empowered to make the sexual health choices that are right for your body and mind, we understand that life is complex and that along the way there are ups and downs. And through it, we hope that you will always know you are supported and can have access to the care and information you may need. That was this episode of Life Notes. You can follow and/or contact Eve for Life for more information.